Hey guys, David Patrick Green, davidpatrickgreen.com, hackhollywood.com, and actorpower.com. Today I want to talk to you guys about a fundamental concept about who we are as actors. We are actors, and yet when it comes to promoting ourselves, we're a bunch of copycats. So today's lesson is why and how you need to be creative with your creativity. Okay, so what do I even mean, be creative with your creativity? Well, you want to be a creative person, meaning you want to be an actor, you want to create, interpret other people's writing, and make it your own, and basically create something that was never there before. And yet, to get to the stage where you can do that professionally, you have to make people aware of who you are and what you can do. And what do most actors rely on? Being a complete copycat. What do? We ask others, hey, how do I become an actor? Hey, what should I do to promote myself? What are the things that I'm allowed to do as an actor to become an actor? Well, there's something ironic about the fact that we want to be creative people, and yet we're unwilling to be creative in the process of promoting ourselves and letting the world find out who we are. So let me just start first with a very bad word that a lot of actors use and that they think they need to use, and that you will hear outsiders, people that are not actors, use these terms. And the first one that I find is the most uncreative and also unhelpful, and that is actor marketing. Okay? Actors do not actually need to market themselves. Actors need to sell themselves. And what's the difference between marketing and selling? Well, marketing is basically lying, and selling is basically telling the truth. Okay, so how is marketing lying? I know that's a bold statement, but it's actually true. So what is marketing in essence? It's basically trying to make people think they want something by making it sound, generally speaking, maybe not better than it is, but the best case scenario. Because the thing with marketing is it's never one-on-one. So when it's one-on-one, you can talk to someone, and when you hear what they want, and if you have it, you can say, oh, I have that. But in marketing, you don't really know who your audience is. You have demographics, you have populations, groups of people that hold certain characteristics similar to one another, but they're all different, because obviously none of us are the same, and they're also different in every single moment. So you never really know what you're dealing with. So as a marketer, you have to make claims that otherwise would be considered lies. So the product or the service sounds so amazing at the best case scenario that people, despite all of their differences and the fact that their needs are changing constantly, still want this product. I mean, for instance, look at a product like Coca-Cola. What is it? It's a drink. You drink it and it refreshes you. It tastes good, but it doesn't change your life. What is Coca-Cola's marketing based on? Completely changing your life. That drinking Coca-Cola will make you pretty popular and basically successful and put a lot of money in your pocket, because I've never really seen them celebrating their product amongst the impoverished. So it's really telling people that using this product will make their lives much better, no matter who they are, right? I mean, that's mass marketing at its best. But actor marketing, it's a little more targeted, because we know that it's people who are making productions of TV shows and films and stage and web series and whatever other formats. You've got all these paid channels, etc. But we're marketing to the people that are making these shows, but we don't know anything about them. We don't know who they are specifically. We don't know the shows they're marketing specifically. I mean, we do at times, but we usually, let's say we're talking about our headshots, we're going to get a headshot that suits us and is also marketable across several different formats or shows or ideas. So what are we basically doing? We're basically trying to make ourselves look the best possible. What do? They touch us up. They try and make us look prettier than normal. We doll up our resumes. We make them look pretty. Then if we've done any work, whether it's amateur or professional, what do? We clip it up into little tiny clips that show us looking at our best. So it's not how we look all the time, right? The pictures aren't how we look all the time. The clips aren't how we look all the time. The resume is basically, a mishmash of things to make us appear the best possible. So, we're not lying, but we're not exactly saying this is who we really are. So that's marketing. And basically, because you are trying to market to a mass audience, which is more than one person at a time, it doesn't really work that well because the timing is so hard to predict. Is your headshot going to land on the right person's desk at the right time when they're casting the right role for you? And is your headshot actually going to match who you really are versus the role that they have on offer? It's like, well, this guy looks right, but not really. And you just wish you could have a snapshot. You could take a snapshot every single time you were submitting, so you were submitting that version of yourself that was perfect for the role, if you really think you are perfect for the role. So there's marketing, and it's not very creative. It's creative in that you're creating things out of thin air. You're making stuff up about yourself, or you're at least, trying to paint a pretty picture of yourself. And that's why often it's very hard to cast people because they portray themselves in so many different ways, and that we really never know that the person that comes in to see the producer or the casting director is actually who the casting director or the producer thinks they are. You see this picture and you're like, oh yeah, I think this is the person. And then they come in and you're like, who's that? Who's that person over there? That's not who, that's not the picture I saw. So it creates a lot of confusion and everybody's doing it. So how good could it be? So what should you do and how can you be creative? Well, you need to actually learn to sell yourself. And how do you sell yourself? You sell the qualities that are your most effective and the most desired qualities that you have, and you sell them to the people who want them the most. So you don't have to worry about the mass market because they are really not that interested in you, because you're not right for their projects or their parts. Who you have to identify are the specific people who really are going to fall in love with you, so to speak. It's a lot like online dating at this point. Even though I've done videos where I say acting is not like online dating, it is when it comes to selling, because you are looking for the person whose profile matches your profile, okay? It's not opposites attracting. This is the project we are doing, and this is the part we have, and this is you with your abilities and your looks, and it's a match, okay? And that's where you have a match between an actor and a producer, and they will hire you. It's like that simple. The business is really simple if you just let it be simple, and it's just go to the people who are your perfect match and introduce yourself, okay? And forget all of the fancy marketing and, trying to please multiple people all at once. If you just focused one at a time on the people that matter the most to you, then you would have no problem, because it would seem obvious to them, as it is obvious to you, that you should be working together. So being creative really means being yourself. So when you're acting, you're creative by allowing your natural reactions, your instincts, to take over, given a bunch of circumstances that were written on a piece of paper. That's creativity. It's the whole Zen thing. If you've ever read the book Drawing from the Right Side of the Brain, which I highly recommend you read, they teach you the very first lesson to learn how to draw if you're not somebody who's good at drawing, because the instinct of most people is to draw the thing that they're looking at. So it's an old man in a chair. Okay, I'll draw an old man in a chair. And it looks terrible. Well, what the very first lesson is to make the thing that you're drawing unrecognizable as a thing and just focus on each little detail and draw those and see how they all connect. And then, so basically you flip the thing upside down, the old man in the chair, you flip it upside down, and now it looks like, I don't know, a bunch of weird lines. And you just draw each tiny little line, and you try and see, okay, I think they meet at about this angle. This one's got another one across, and then it curves over like that. And so you're like this. And first of all, you get really focused. It's awesome. It feels great. You lose all sense of time and space, and that's really how you want to be as an actor. And what you've done, and this also relates to being an actor, is once you're finished drawing all these lines and connecting them in the proportion that you think, and it's your creativity, even though you're drawing something that already existed. It's like acting. It existed on paper. Now you're going to bring it to life. You take this thing that already existed, you give it your own spin on it, how you see the proportions and all that. Then you flip it over back to its right side up, so you can now see what the whole entirety of it is. And you've suddenly got an old man in a chair. It might be good, it might be bad, but it's incredible to see what your creativity allows you to do if you focus and don't sort of worry about the results. Because when we're doing art by looking at an old man in a chair and trying to draw an old man in a chair, we're focused on the results. It's got to look like the old man in the chair. And we get very distracted by, oh, that eye doesn't look good. Oh, you know, and oh, it looks, I've drawn an eye and it's now I have no room left on the rest of the page. It can be very frustrating. Whereas when you don't know exactly what you're drawing, it's more abstract. You're just drawing lines and seeing how they fit together and, okay, make sure I have enough room on the page. And you're kind of going through this whole different exercise than trying to make something look like something else. You're not trying to make something look like something else. You're trying to just focus on tiny little details. Okay, now next little detail. And whoop, you flip it, and then you've got an actual thing. Same thing with your sales and creativity is by being yourself whenever you meet someone, knowing what they're looking for by doing your homework and your research a little bit, but sometimes just being yourself for the sake of being yourself so they can actually see who you're like, because then they may say, well, I don't think I could use you in my project, but you sound just like someone who, my friend could use in his project. And so you allow that creativity, that you-ness to come through. So rather than trying to please others, you are just trying to be yourself. And I'll tell you right now, if you try to please everyone, you will please no one. If you just try to please yourself by being yourself, then those people who decide to like you and want to work with you will like you and want to work with you. And those who don't will have the opportunity to not do so, which is a benefit to you and to them. So by learning to be yourself and not copying what everyone else is doing and not focusing on results like, oh, I need to do more auditions, or I need to do more that, or, trying to, what do they want? What do they want? By trying to do all that stuff and marketing and things like that, all you're doing is trying to make everyone like you. And they will never all like you. And by trying that, no one will like you, because no one will actually know you. But by just being yourself and finding the people who you are a perfect match for, then they can decide for themselves. So allow yourself to be yourself, even though that may be very hard at times. You have to learn to accept who you are. And I think really the people who are most successful in life are those who are comfortable with who they are and have something that they want to do. It's that simple. Be who you are, have something that you want to do, and then go do it, because your natural inclinations will take over. Well, if I want to do something, who else is doing it? Who else, who else might I involve in this? Well, people that are a good match for me. Okay. I'll interview people like Steve Jobs. He's a great example because he seems like a very creative guy. I never met him, but he invented something that barely existed before. And, even though he may have seen the graphical user interface before, he just said, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And then he saw what to do with it, right? It's like everybody's got ideas, but very few people can execute on the ideas. So he just saw, oh, that's a good idea. We got to make that happen. And he made it happen. And it's the same way with us, okay? We get ideas. Sometimes we copy the idea. Doesn't work. If you see an idea, though, and you make it your own and make it work for you and for people who you want to work with and for people who you think might want to work with you, then it's always going to be a perfect match. So, guys, that's really the difference between not being creative and being creative, between marketing and sales. Sales is really just, hi, door to door, knock, 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 based on your homework. Like, you can do cold calling to anybody, but that's a really tough slog because then you don't know who might need what you have to offer. But if you do a little homework, a little screening ahead of time, you can show up at the right doors and you just knock on the door and you say, hey, I understand you do this. This is what I do. I think we should talk. I think I have something that would be very useful to you. And if it makes sense to them, then it's a complete no-brainer. So all you have to do is understand who you are and understand who can use what you have to offer and connect with them. Make yourself known to them. And the rest will take care of itself because they'll get it. They'll just go, oh, perfect. You might be early, you might be late, but you're still perfect at some point. Like at some point, we're going to work together. And so then you just maintain the relationship. You might get to know them better. You might hang out with them. They might introduce you to other people because they get who you are because you're showing who you are. And that is what sales is. It's one-on-one and it's telling the truth, okay? If you said anything about yourself that wasn't true, then it would be silly because they would find out that what you just said wasn't true. And that's really the difference between marketing and sales. In marketing, you're not as worried about the truth. You'll say things that aren't necessarily 100% true because you don't even know who you're talking to. So, you just kind of put it out there and hope that 50% of it is true and 50% of the people out there believe 50% of it is true. And then they buy your stuff and they find out, okay, maybe 10% of this works. And, all the fancy stuff really didn't make any difference whatsoever. Whereas good sales is 100% truth. And you tell the person right in front of you only exactly what they need to know. Okay? Because you study your market, you study your people, and you talk to them one-on-one. Hi, this is what I have and this is what I think you need. Is that right? Yes? Perfect. Bam. Sale done. No? Forever or no right now? No, we're not making a movie right now. I like what you're saying and I would have hired you the last movie, but I can't hire you right now. Okay, I'll come back. And that's literally all you have to do. And you only need a few people. You don't need to cover the world. And I think that's where a lot of actors go wrong is they think they need to cover the world. That's why they have thousands of headshots flying all over the place. And they're trying to get everybody to see them, thinking that they will see in them, what they need. Whereas if you just do the one-on-one thing very carefully with a very select group, they will see instantly that you are the thing that they want, whether it's now or later. Okay, guys, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this. It was a little complex. It's advanced stuff, but what I'm trying to lead you towards is more FaceTime with the people who can hire you, okay? You have to have the skills to back it up. I'm making this the assumption. So if you don't have the skills to back it up, and even if you have the skills, but you don't really believe in yourself, then you need to work on that. But in the meantime, you still need to meet the people that will relate to your skills when you finally have them and help them out in some other capacity in the meantime. Get to know each other, help them out somehow, make them feel better about themselves, pour their coffee, clean their toilets, answer their phones, operate their cameras, read their scripts, whatever it is, get to know them and work on yourself in the meantime. Work on your skills so that you can run fast like Usain Bolt when the race is going to be run. Okay, see, the Olympics only come every 4 years. So, these guys are training so that they hit their peak at the Olympics. And actors, should be the same way. You're training for the big day at the Olympics, but in the meantime, part of your training should involve working with people in the business, coaches, consultants. You get involved, right? You're at the track every day. You're working on it, and you're also learning how the business works. Like, how do the Olympics work? How do I get on the Olympic team and all that stuff? Might not be the greatest analogy in the world, but nothing ever just boils down to the thing that you're doing. Like, running isn't just about running. Acting isn't just about acting. Accounting isn't just about accounting. You have to understand other components of your business to succeed in it. So work on the relationships, super important, and work on the skills. And when they come together, man, you are going to work a lot. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. If you like this, give me the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and click on that silly little bell so you get notifications of more cool and complex videos like this. I will talk to you soon.